Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Underneath the Hood with Glen and Dave. I'm Dave Martin. I'm the owner of Martin's Auto Repair down in Central Phoenix.
And I'm Glenn Hayward, the proud owner of Goodworks Auto Repair in sunny Tempe, Arizona.
And we are here changing the perception of the auto repair industry by going behind the scenes and under the hood.
In these podcasts, we're going to discuss the good, the bad, and the ugly of owning a small business in the auto repair industry from an insider's point of view.
So let's get started. Hello, everyone out there. I'm Dave Martin from Martin's Auto Repair down in Central Phoenix, and you are listening to Underneath the Hood with Glen and Dave. How you doing, Glenn?
I'm doing great, Dave. You know, it's always so exciting to get together with you and do these podcasts because there's such a plethora of things to talk about that are both car related, that are human being related.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, there's always related. There's so many things that we can share with you that you know will keep our interest and your interest in these podcasts. So today we have a very special guest, Lee Weatherby from Accurate Automotive.
Thank you very much, Glenn. Yeah, I have to tell you what, I'm grateful to be here. Sorry, guys. You you guys wanted me to leave, and I just wouldn't. So
He's gonna stay on closing.
I
close this joint if it counts.
I guess the real thing that's kind of nice is the topic. That we've been talking about is driving safely. Like in inclement weather and an odd
Right.
especially
You wanted to talk about that. Oh, Lee, and you said you got a really, really good story for our listeners to listen to that might just help them out.
Well, I had a question though before we start. Why is it called a monsoon and not a monsoon-related? Something. Where did this word originate?
Glenn,
What is a monsoon?
you can Google that.
Well, I know.
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
Our audience maybe want to
I got confused because I've lived here so long. Now they've changed from like a monsoon to a haboobs. And I mean, the first time I turned down, I'm looking around the side and thinking, wow, I don't know what this is, but I used to call this a monsoon.
Yeah.
It seems like the same thing. Well, guys, I gotta share kind of a funny thing. When I first moved here to Arizona, there was a lot of, where'd you move from first? California. Yeah, California. Yeah. So then, like the day we moved,
You got it, country?
yeah,
You're out of the country.
it sure seems like it sometimes. But the day that we moved, you guys will get a kick out of this. My wife and I were the only ones that were working on moving. We had a full 36-foot U-Haul packed with everything we owned in it. We loaded it up, moved, drove out here. When we got here, we didn't have a place to store it. We rented a quick little storage place. We started going in, and of course, I had my toolbox and all of our home furnishings and kids and everything else. Kids were at grandma and grandpa's. Long story short, we went into this little facility, that little box, 162 degrees inside the box. It was Kelly and I, and we just unloaded this stuff. We got in there, and the very first thing I said, Kelly goes, "What do you want to do?" I go, "I want to find a place. I want to find a pool." She goes, "Oh, but shouldn't we find a place to stay? We don't have a place to stay or anything else." Guess what? I said, first place that lets us swim in that pool, that's where we're staying. Hey, that was a sight. The funny thing is, after we had gotten here and worked here for a while, I was going to go to work at a place up in Scottsdale. And the guy came and made the offer and said, "Hey, I want you to come to work for us here." And it was a Cactus and Cape, long ways away. We lived in Gilk, okay? So I would drive every day up Pima Road. And we would go up Pima Road and Pima Road Cactus, cut across, over Cave Creek. And, man, it was great. Never had experienced a monsoon. Didn't even know what it was, you guys. I mean, it was a sunny afternoon, probably 110 degrees outside, and I was getting off work, probably got a 4:45 or so, and the next thing you know, you guys gotta understand, at that time I had a little Honda 1500, little Civic two-door, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Greatest little cars ever, right? And I thought, man, this thing is so fun. Well, all of a sudden, the wind came up, all right, and then out of nowhere, you had hail. I mean, guys, it was 110. Hail, wind. I'm looking at the palm fronds swinging out in the air, then massive rain. I mean, a downpour rain. Like you're standing under a shower and it's just booming on you. And I'm thinking to myself, wow. I pull up to the intersection and the streets are flooded. I mean, I'm thinking we live in a desert, right? The streets are just going to, it's just going to suck them right up.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that doesn't happen. The streets just overflow. And so you can't turn certain directions. So the way that I'm used to going home is no longer an option.
Yeah.
So I have to turn the other way. I ended up going towards I-17. Now, I-17 from, I guess, Cave Creek is probably about a mile and a half. I somehow get down there, one lane, you know what I mean? You're moved over to one lane, you get to the freeway, and I get on the freeway. I'm thinking, okay, boy, I've never done this, so maybe this will be a good way to go. You guys, I'm looking around, and it was eerie. There was nobody on the freeway.
Wow.
When I say nobody, you guys understand, nobody. I was the only vehicle on the freeway.
And then you're
Still everyone crazy enough to be there.
you're now you're questioning your life choices, right?
Well, I was pushing a lot of things. So like, what just happened? Because now the sun's out again. Everything stopped. I mean, this is 15 minutes later, right? 20 minutes later. I come up. Okay, you guys, in Arizona, they have the underpasses.
So
Okay, so like on the freeway.
Yeah, and they've got to do like
it becomes swimming pool.
yeah.
Guys, I had no idea. I'm driving up on this thing, and I'm probably doing 35 because the freeway was a little bit flushed over with water, and I'm driving up 35, and all of a sudden, I come across where I'm going to be going on this freeway, and you could see water floating. I mean, it had to be, like you said,
Yeah.
18 feet deep.
Yeah, it's
And I'm
nothing.
thinking, oh my word. And now all of a sudden I realized why nobody else is on the freeway. You couldn't drive. And so you know what? It was a really valuable lesson for me to know that, you know what, when we have inclement weather or something like that, of course, since I've learned. But if you don't know, you don't know. You know what I'm saying?
So what did you do? Did you speed up to try to jump it, or did you slow down and stop?
It was my first thought. I actually turned it out and went the wrong way on the freeway. And I got off. All the other cars were now off-road. And you know what? That evening, it took me about 5 hours to get home.
Oh wow!
Because they had at this point now, they had all the safety crews and stuff that were out. We're talking a major event in a minimal amount of time, 15
Right. Yeah.
These are major events that happen in a very short span of time. And I mean, there were cars parked everywhere. So what I learned is you can't drive through them. You know what I mean? That was my first impression, though. I thought it might be fun to see how far that little Honda might float.
That's any ability.
Yeah.
That's what they get out and force it gently into the water. It won't work because you won't survive.
Just got to think really light, really light, really light.
But like we talked about in our previous podcast, I actually like my cars.
Yeah.
So I was looking at all the vehicles that were broke down, but then trying to go through water that was too deep. And we hear about this all the time on the news out here.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, that people will be.
Oh, yeah, what do they got? The idiot motors lawn where
It actually passed a law now.
So what is talking
People.
Yes.
Oh yeah, our truck and there's these big 4x4s and these huge tires. They're great flotation.
Yeah. Bad decision voters.
I don't know what they actually call it, but I call it the idiot motor. Yeah, they charge you for all that stuff.
You have to talk to emergency services, whatever damage it is.
Well, the interesting thing was, I saw all this. I mean, I was witnessing this firsthand. I mean, what an impression it makes. Because, I mean, you literally have debris and deposits and everything else that are just around, all the safety crews, and then you have people, and I hate to say it, people are going to be people, but everybody thinks they want to get to someplace fast. You guys, the best tip I can give you, slow down. Slow down. I mean, take everything in and really observe your surroundings, because you know what? There's so many different dangerous things, that come about.
Well, yeah, telephone poles come down.
Absolutely.
All kinds
That
of
was
stuff.
really had some of the roads to burn.
Some of these winds are 80, 90 plus miles. an hour.
Absolutely.
Besides the rain and the hail and the
Yeah, so Russell's a really good point in what you just said a minute ago about really know your surroundings, watch for your surroundings. Because here's what's very important that I think is these haboobs, these storms, they can come like that out of the flash. And what happens is if you don't know what's around you, because you want to have a plan. If I have zero visibility,
Yeah.
I want to make sure that I can get off to the road, stop, make sure you turn off your lights, right?
Right.
Make sure you don't put your foot on the brake. But you want to get into a safe area where you're not going to get creamed or somebody's going to run into you or something bad's going to happen. So that's very important, is to know your surroundings. Pay attention while you're driving and go, all right, if I have to stop, where would I stop?
Mhm.
You know,
Right. And don't stop in the center of the road. Whatever you do, don't do that.
No, dude, you don't.
Usually the weather forecast, and lets you know that there's a, high possibility or probability, for monsoons, haboobs,
All these phones blow up. If you're out and about, oh yeah, it's trying to, 17 phones go off.
and they could happen almost anywhere. I mean, they go right through they used to, when we lived, Central Mesa, when we still live in Central Mesa, but, we had these warnings that they went right over our swimming pool and they dump an inch of sand and grit in the bottom of the pool.
Just that was last week. At my house.
Yeah, and you see it all the time. These are powerful. Just, to your point. I will tell you this.
Tree ups, blow off.
Patio equipment or patio furniture, so that it gets lifted. Yeah,
They go up there,
So guys, I think let's give the listeners a couple more tips that if you're stuck in a monsoon driving, let's just say that we, this thing, we didn't know it, we didn't hear it, we didn't, it came out of the blue, whatever.
blow off.
Yeah, right. So what can our listeners do if they get stuck in the storm drive?
See, that's a really good point. And what I would tell you is, you mentioned something that I really liked, and that was you said, turn off your lights.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, why, Dave? Why would we turn off our lights?
So because you don't want the person behind you to think that you're still on the road.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Bingo. See, that's the whole thing. Sometimes it kind of goes counterintuitive because you think, oh, I'll be able to see. But you know what? First off, you got to be observant. If you see those big dust clouds coming on, that's what I think they refer to now as a haboop.
Right.
And you see that big dust cloud coming, divert away from it, or stop course, or pull over. Go into. My recommendation is stop. Go into, a facility. Park your car. Get out of it. Get inside of a restaurant or a bar or someplace.
That's a good idea.
Well, I don't know the local. I didn't say get a taxi.
Throw them on here.
I'm just saying. Let it pass. Plan to allow it to do its thing. Mother Nature's way, way, way stronger than we are.
Yeah.
And I will tell you this: when that kind of thing, if you're lucky enough, to be able to see it, you can make good decisions to divert it. If you happen to get caught in it, like you're saying,
Yeah.
man, shut those lights off and get over, like you said, to the side of the road. But don't just get barely over to the side of the road. Get off, maybe even into that little soft shoulder area, so that you're off the road. Because other drivers, other people that are coming down that may be trying to forge ahead in that cloud,
Right.
they can't see anything. It's much like being in the fog in California.
Yeah.
And this
I guess that was more.
oh man, it's absolutely scary. The other thing is, when your lights are on, all that stuff just reflects back and you can't see anything
Right.
or any light. Better to have the lights off.
Right. And if you're driving down the freeway and the shoulders are very narrow, let's just say, you want to make sure that you get off to where there's an exit and get all over, like you said, it's perfect. Get over as far as you can. You don't really want to be on that freeway. You don't want to be in that freeway. You want to get off as far as you can.
I like to do it like, okay, when an emergency vehicle is approaching, what are we supposed to do? Well, we're supposed to pull over and do what? Wait until the emergency vehicle passes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Okay.
Guys, a monsoon is an emergency vehicle.
Yeah. Right.
So get over to the side of the road and allow it to pass. Because the thing of it is, we're talking 15, 20-minute time spans most of the time.
Yeah.
I mean, and
Not a lifetime.
I don't want you to think that I know what I'm talking about, because I don't. I don't think they have an hour long or anything like that. I've never been in one like that.
Yeah.
But even if it was, it still makes good sense. Allow it to pass. You know what I mean? Because it's you don't want to be driving in it. It's beating up your car anyways. You know what I mean? Just allow it to pass and take the time that's necessary. Life is valuable. Take the time necessary to preserve that. You know what I mean? And you'll be fine, I think.
Well, and what about when these rainstorms, when it just dumps on us, right? And like you in your situation, right? What happens and what should our listeners do if your vehicle starts to slide? Well, and they call it hydroplaning. But let's just say you're driving down the freeway and the freeway is really getting like your situation where you're watching the water go across the road.
Yeah.
And your vehicle starts to hydroplane. What?
Here's a real good song for this.
Oh yeah.
Jesus, take the wheel.
That's a good one.
The thing of it is, to your point, slow down. You guys, the very first thing you got to do is slow down. Take your foot off that accelerator.
Right. Take your foot off the accelerator and don't hit the brakes. That's correct. Yeah. If you hit the brakes, you're just gonna slide more.
Yeah.
So you want to slow the car down, and like you said, you you shouldn't be flying down the road when it's so bad anyway.
Yeah.
But if you're driving at a moderate speed, you take your foot off the accelerator, the water and everything's going to slow you down pretty quickly. And then what you do is you just steer.
That's right.
Just hold on to that wheel and you just steer.
But you're not going to have control. I guess that's the one thing that people need to understand is you're not going to have control.
Yeah.
You're at this point you're out of control.
Yeah. Just try to keep it going.
But just like you said, Glenn, really, really important point. Don't hit the brakes because that's going to create a worst scenario. You know what I mean? When you're in a hard spot, it's like hitting black ice. You don't hit the brakes. You know what I mean? No, you literally. I mean, and I'm only semi-kidding when I say it. You don't wait for Jesus to take the wheel.
Yes. Yeah. And you're
yes.
right. Sometimes, like you said, you just don't have control over it. All you can do is just try to steer it as best you possibly can. It's a runaway train.
Ride it out until the vehicle comes to the
Well, is there anything else that you guys can think of that would help if you're stuck in that situation?
What I can tell you is, and this just goes back to general car type of safety things, but my suggestion is that people should always have water. You know what I mean? On their vehicles, or you should always what they say when you're a Boy Scout, always be prepared, right? But always have water, always have maybe a little snack or something, in your vehicle that you can carry with you in case you have a prolonged time that you need to be out. I always recommend having, like the road, I'm saying road flare because I'm old.
Yeah, right.
No,
I don't think they make those anymore.
I mean, like the triangles and stuff like that. See, definitely turn your lights up, but if you have a lighted triangle,
Right.
you're going to be
Get away out of that. Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
what that means. And the thing of it is, you always want to put that the left side of your vehicle. I mean, so if you have that would be something good to have. And then just like I say, we probably need to plan for it. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Because we live in Arizona and they're here. You know what I mean? So
Well, hey, here's my advice to all of the listeners out there is that make sure you have brake wiper blades.
absolutely.
We need wiper blades because if you're in a kind of a situation where it's moderate visibility, your wiper blades can help you a lot. That's number one. Number two is make sure that your lights, your headlights, make sure that the plastic housing that light sits in, you can see through it.
It's not sunburn.
It's not sunburned because we've seen them where they got this yellow so we can film all over, right?
They didn't start out that way, Dave.
Sometimes their white is so bleached out from the sun that
You nailed it. And so make sure that those things are sending that light out as bright as possible because that's going to help you. If you get stuck in that, at least you're going to have some visibility.
Right.
If you don't have any lights, you have no visibility. Now you're really tough. So, Glenn, what do you got for us?
Well, what today's point about the lights, in many offices like the one we're sitting in right now, there's what they call a diffuser that goes over the top of the lights. There's two fluorescent light bulbs, and the diffuser actually spreads the light out. Instead of keeping it projecting in any particular direction, it diffuses it so that it sheds more light and more things. So what happens with your headlights on your car is when they get coated with that sunburn, as we call it, it starts diffusing light. So instead of projecting lights where you can see out in front of you, it's projecting it to the sides and up and down and every place but where you need to see. So getting those headlights serviced, all of our shops here offer a service that we can take all of that diffusion off of there and take all the snow and the sunburn off and clear what looks like snow in the headlights and clean them to make them crystal clear again and make them look like new without having to replace the whole headlight or the lamps. We haven't replaced just the lights. They're all made out of plastic composite but they can be polished out and it's definitely worth your safety's channel. It's high quality to have it done.
Of course, yeah. And one other thing I just wanted to throw this out there is make sure you have a phone charger. I think that's just kind of important because the thing with this is if your phone doesn't work and you get yourself in a situation like this where you need some help, you can still use your phone to call their help.
Absolutely, and I will tell you this, just based on what you were thinking, because you really brought me down to earth when you said, through white words, stuff like that,
Yeah.
in a rainstorm. guys, it's so absolutely imperative that making sure we're checking our tires.
Oh, it's okay.
You know what? I hate to say it. How many cars do we see? Let's say we see 60 cars a week. 100% of them aren't all good tires. You know what I mean? 50% of them aren't all good tires. And there's so many vehicles that have one or more tires, you know what I mean, that are literally close to that threshold. And should, one of these monsoons occur, that could put them in a very, very awkward predicament.
That's what I understand. Yeah,
Absolutely. So that was, just out of control. Boy.
We don't want that.
So,
Well, guys, it's been another great podcast. I thank both of you. It's been great to hang out with you guys and do this podcast. And we look forward to doing some more podcasts and seeing all the listeners out there. Have a good
be safe. So
Thank you.
Thank you.